The American Civil War was actually a conflict between the U.S. federal government and 11 southern states that fought to secede from the Union. These 11 southern states formed the Confederate States of America, also known as a Confederacy. The Civil War was brought on by many economic, political, and social factors that influenced the American North and South. The one factor that had the greatest impact in driving the country to war was the economic differences between the sections. The strong emotions leading to war were deep-rooted in the differences of opinion and belief between the North and South. The plantation way of life was well established in the southern states that formed the Confederacy. The southern economy was built on the forced labor of slaves. The invention of the cotton gin by Eli Whitney in 1793 made the harvesting of cotton very profitable. This led to an increase in the number of plantations willing to grow cotton, which created a great need for cheap labor, in other words, slaves. The southern plantation economy became a one-crop economy, depending on cotton and also on slavery. The agricultural-based economy in the South also destined the southern states to a slow growth in population. On the other hand, the economy in the northern states was based more on industry. In fact, the mill-based industries in the north were purchasing the raw cotton and turning it into finished goods. The changes in the northern cities meant that society evolved as immigrants with different cultures and classes had to work together. The northern states became more politically powerful as populations increased. Meanwhile, the South continued to hold onto its old ways of social order. With the economic differences between the North and South, quarrels started over tariffs and states' rights. Southerners thought the tariffs were unfair because the South imported more goods than Northerners. If the North pushed the federal government to increase the taxes on imported items from England, then the South would have to pay more for their imported products. Also, Southern exporters sometimes had to pay higher amounts for shipping their products overseas because of the distance from Southern ports. As the country continued to grow and change, the North and South argued as to how this country should be governed. The North argued that the federal government needed to have more control, while those opposed thought there was a need for the states to have greater rights and power. Many Southerners thought the writing of the new Constitution ignored the rights of states to continue to act independently, and that state law should hold more weight than federal law. They felt that the states should still have the right to decide whether or not they wanted to abide by certain federal acts. In the North, abolitionist movements were also growing strong. The North wanted to abolish slavery. In summary, one major factor that caused the Civil War was the contrasting economies in the North and South. While the South was based on a plantation system, the North was focused on city life. Key to these arguments was the need for Southern slaveholders to be able to continue to conduct business as they had for decades. Therefore, the differences in the economy and political opinions of the North and South caused the Civil War. The winner of the war would be able to enforce their rules and end the arguments between the two.